What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm down at Audi Greenville getting to check out the 2021 Audi R8 V10. This is the rear wheel drive version, so huge shout out to them for providing this supercar for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website, that will be down in the description. This model is finished off in Daytona Gray Pearl and it has an MSRP just shy of $170,000. But let's go ahead and start off today's review by checking out what powers this beast. Where you'll find the 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10 engine. This is paired to the 7-speed S-tronic transmission. It pumps out 532 horsepower around 4,400 RPM and 398 pound-feet of torque around 6,600 RPM. As I mentioned, this model is the rear-wheel drive version. The Quattro all-wheel drive version is still available. This weighs in around 3,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, up to its top speed just shy of 200 miles an hour. And with a fuel capacity of 21.1 gallons, you can expect to see around 14 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 104.3 inches. Its overall length is 174.4. It has a width of 76.4 and a height of 48.7 inches. And with all those specs out of the way, we can go ahead and jump into the exterior walk around on the R8 V10. I think my favorite feature about this front end design is just how aggressive it is. We have so many lines connecting in different places and so many contoured areas that just add to that aggressive look. And the fact that we have gloss black in between all of the Daytona gray just adds to that aggressive look. So you'll notice right in the center we have the hexagonal grille along with forward-facing sensors. You can see all of that gloss black, of course. It's even in the lower section of the bumper with some small fins on both sides. This also has LED headlights and LED DRLs. They have a really sleek design to them. You can see more gloss black on the inside of the housings as well. And down below you can see more air inlets to provide cooling to vital components that are located up front. And you can see up on the hood, it's actually part of the side fender flares, which we'll see in a different angle here soon. So we have really crisp lines coming down and very sharp points at the end to add to that aggressive style. Working our way to the side profile now for the Audi R8, I'm gonna start off with these wheels. They measure 20 inches with a two-tone design and a 5-split Y-spoke design as well. It matches very nicely against this Daytona gray. You'll also notice behind the wheels we have the red brake calipers. This features 8 pistons up front with the rotors measuring 14.4 inches and 4 pistons in the rear with the rotors measuring 14 inches. So definitely plenty of stopping power for the supercar. You'll notice that these side mirrors are body colored. They feature the integrated turn signal as well. And you can also see this model has the optional carbon fiber Sigma side blades, which is iconic for the Audi R8. You'll see there's more gloss black in the lower side skirt just to add to that aggressive look. We have the gas cap, which is finished off in aluminum, and this has a very sleek roof line. You can see just how it curves all the way, meeting the rear fender arch very nicely, and you can see up front just how wide these fender flares are to add to that aggressive look. And finishing up in the rear for the Audi R8, you can see I have the deployable spoiler up at the moment. It will deploy and retract depending on the speed that you're going to help better improve with better aerodynamics, and it just looks cool in the up position. This also has a backup camera with parking sensors in the lower section of the bumper. You can see there are cutouts in this mesh. These are heat extraction vents to allow the engine to cool quicker, and we have the exhaust behind there as well, which you can get a sneak peek at, which is a cool design. You'll notice the lower diffuser is finished off in gloss black, and we have these large fins just adding to that aggressive look. And to finish it up, we have the oval style tips for the dual exhaust. Now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the interior on the Audi R8 V10. So with the vehicle locked and the key in my pocket, I'm gonna go ahead and place my hand in the door handle. Now you actually can't see it from the outside here because it's tucked up underneath this very nice body line here, meeting the carbon fiber side blade. So if I reach my hand up underneath, you can hear it unlock. There's also a spot that you can swipe your finger or just push your finger there and you can hear it lock. So if I go ahead and reach up underneath, we can go ahead and unlock this, and now we can take a look at this beautiful door panel where you'll see there is leather and red stitching, gives it a very premium upscale look. You can see brushed aluminum on the release handle. Lock and unlock is just in front of that, along with all of the window controls and the side mirror adjustments. You can see carbon fiber surrounding one air vent. This also has a 12-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. We have the release for the front storage area as well, and a little bit of storage space in the lower section of the door. Moving inside now, you'll see R8 down on the door sill, and we can go ahead and take a look at these beautiful black leather seats. You can see the red stitching running down the inserts with the diamond pattern. We have red stitching running down the bolsters as well. These also have speakers up in the headrest. You can see the Bang & Olufsen logo along with perforations in the headrest. That is a really nice touch to see. You can also move the forward portion of the seat using this button down on the side if you need a little bit more comfort. And of course, we have all the other automatic controls down on the side as well. And now, once inside with my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire this up. And you'll see in this configuration for the digital gauge cluster, we have power and torque over on the right side. Those are live readouts, so if I give the vehicle some gas right now, you can see those adjust. We also have the fuel gauge, which is over on the far right side. Engine temperature is on the left side. And then right in the middle, we have the tach along with miles per hour and what gear you're in. And then over on the left side, you can go through some different information. So right now you can see it's on the phone. We can scroll over and pull up the navigation. We can also look at some more vital information like your long and short-term memory, along with your fuel consumption and the date and time. And then we can also pull up music as well. Now, if I click on the view button on the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see the tach and the miles per hour now on both corners, and we can go through all of that information that I just talked about right in the center. So it just gives you a larger screen. You can also look at the navigation in full screen and zoom in and out, which is really nice to see. You have a great graphics for what's in front of you. And as we make our way to the steering wheel now, you'll see it's covered in solid and perforated leather. It has a very nice flat bottom design to it with the R8 logo. You'll see on the right side, we have the engine start stop button, along with Bluetooth and voice commands, volume and tuning for the radio. You can quickly get to the navigation. There's also a customizable button, so you can pull up your information you use the most very quickly. Over on the left side, we can pull up the different driving modes. So you'll see comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. You'll hear the exhaust note change as well in dynamic. And then above that, we have all of the controls I was using to go through that center screen. And then just behind the steering wheel, we have the paddle shifters finished off in black. As we make our way to the left side of the steering wheel, down below, you can see all of the headlight controls. We have carbon fiber surrounding the gauge cluster. It's even up in the upper section here. And this model has the extended leather package. So the entire dash is leather as well as the entire door panel. And then right in the center, you'll see carbon fiber surrounding the air vents. And then we have all the climate controls in a nice floating design. You'll see the fan speed on the left side. We have temperature right in the center, along with where you'd like the air to go on the far right. These are also heated seats, so you have that for driver and passenger with a few other controls in the bottom. And then just underneath that, you'll see more leather. We can go ahead and open up this compartment where you'll see 2 USB ports along with an auxiliary and 12 volt. And this is a wireless charging port. So it's really nice to see that storage area. You can close this up and keep all those items from moving. Just behind that, you'll see toggle switches for your traction control along with the hazards. You can turn on and off the parking sensors as well as deploy and retract that rear spoiler. And then just behind that, we have the shifter finished off in perforated leather. If I push the release on the left side, we can go all the way up into reverse. And that will bring up your backup camera right in the center. You have the guidelines as well, along with the parking sensors over on the left side. We can go all the way back into drive, pop it over into the manual setting, which allows you to use the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. And then just by pushing the P on the back, it will automatically go into park. You'll see on the right side of that, we have power and volume for the radio. And then there are controls for that center screen. So you have shortcuts to your navigation and phone, along with your radio and media. There's a scrolling dial right in the center. We can go to menu, and that will pull up this screen right here, where you can view your navigation, your phone, you have your media and radio. You can also go into vehicle, which pulls up the information I showed earlier. And you can scroll all the way over to your Audi Connect, along with your Audi smartphone and different settings that you want to go into. So it's very nice to have all of that information right in front of you. You'll see more of that carbon fiber along with the electronic parking brake. Right in the middle, we have more leather and red stitching. You can push this button here to open this up, where you'll see there are 2 cup holders. You can also open up this compartment from the passenger side as well. And making our way to the glove box, you'll see there's an ample amount of room for all of your information that has to go there. Finished off in more leather, of course. We'll go ahead and take one last look at these beautiful seats. And then up top, this specific model has the Alcantara headliner with the diamond stitching running down the passenger and driver side. Gives it a very clean look. And then right in the center, we have some garage door buttons along with the touch sensitive dome lights. And then as we work our way to behind the seats, you'll see right in the middle, there is a CD player down below. And there's a nice partial shelf for extra storage space along with a net. So you can put any items you like back there, which is great interior storage space. And last up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the front trunk storage space. There's two different ways you can open this. You can use the button I showed earlier on the driver door panel or on the key fob. And after you push that button, it will get you into this position here where there's a good sized grab handle up underneath to release the hood and open it up further. You'll see there is actually a lot of storage space for this supercar. From personal experience owning an R8, you can fit a lot of items up here. You can fit groceries, 2 backpacks, you can go on a decent weekend trip, or just fit anything that you need to. And I love how we have 3 different nets here. You can put some smaller items up top and larger items down below, where there's also a 12 volt as well. So it gives you a lot of practicality for a supercar like this. All right, so getting the 2021 Audi R8 V10 out on the road now. As I mentioned earlier, this is the rear wheel drive version. You can still opt for the all wheel drive version. That's the V10 Quattro Performance. But since 2008, Audi has strictly made the R8 an all-wheel drive vehicle. In the last few years, they did come out with the RWS, which is the rear wheel series or the rear wheel system. And now recently for the 21 model, you can actually get a rear wheel drive version. So that is pretty cool to see. I think the demand for the RWS was extremely high. And I think it's really cool because this is much cheaper than the all-wheel drive system. It also weighs a little bit less. It's going to be a little bit better in its steering because there's no components up front, of course, for the all-wheel drive. But at the same time, you can get better traction in the all-wheel drive, of course, because you have those front wheels spinning as well. So there's trade-offs to both of them, but it is nice that we have basically the entry-level R8 now with the rear-wheel drive system. It's still going to perform very similar to the all-wheel drive system. This is actually the second rear-wheel drive R8 that I've been able to drive. And from personal experience owning an R8, it's going to be very, very hard to tell the performance differences unless you're truly tracking this and you're getting some hardcore data numbers from real world situations. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of gas. It still has that V10 exhaust, and that was in comfort mode at the moment. Let's go ahead and put it into dynamic because the exhaust gets a little bit louder. There we go. Those shifts are incredibly quick. The moment you hit those paddles, you are into the next gear, and it's so smooth in its power delivery as well. You can barely feel the shifts, and even coming around some quick twisties like that, I mean, it handles incredibly well. And the R8 is one of my favorite supercars. I own one if you're new to the channel, and it's an older first gen, but nonetheless, it's still an R8. So it's really cool to see the new technology in the 2021. Oh, we are down to second gear just like that. Around this turn, I mean, it hooks and it stays planted. I'm not doing anything crazy, but wow, this is an awesome vehicle. We got to hear that exhaust a little bit closer. course, that sounds incredibly good, but now that we're at a stoplight here, visibility is really good. Most mid-engine supercars, you're gonna sacrifice a little bit of visibility because the engine is behind you, but I can clearly see out of this back window. This pillar here is not all that bulky, but you can see around it. You have your side mirrors there, and again, from personal experience, it's really not all that bad. You get used to it, if that makes sense. So visibility is great for a mid-engine supercar like this. And now let's talk about this interior. This is really where it's at. This is a phenomenal interior with all of the leather, the carbon fiber. You don't see anything cheap in this interior. This is a quality, premium feeling interior. We have the Alcantara headliner, and it's just nice. It's a very, very nicely laid out interior. And what's different, at least from my first gen, is the fact that we have this digital gauge cluster right in the center. And I think this is really cool. This makes it a lot more driver focused. You can keep your hands on the steering wheel. We even have the engine start stop button and a few other controls. Now this doesn't hinder your passengers too much because they can actually use the information in the center here and still read that screen from the passenger seat. So if they need to go into the music or something like that, they can still see that screen, which is nice. So now let's talk about the comfort of driving this. I have it in dynamic mode right now. I'm gonna quickly pop into comfort mode, and you can feel it get a little bit less stiff. I love that aspect to it. If you want to daily drive this, which this is one of the most, I guess you could say, this is one of the best supercars that you can daily drive because it's comfortable, it's practical. You can fit a lot in that front storage space. Personally, I've done it and I can put a lot in there. You have a lot of room behind these seats. This is one of the most comfortable daily driving supercars that you can buy, and I love that aspect to it. In comfort mode right now, it is absorbing these bumps well. You can pop it over into dynamic mode, and it does get a little bit more stiff, but that's the purpose of it. You can take this out on back mountain roads, to the track, wherever you want, and have a blast driving this, or you can daily commute this. It is a fun car to be behind the wheel of. So we'll go ahead and give it one last acceleration for today's video. Man, this is quick and smooth in those shifts, and it's a blast to drive. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive behind the wheel of the 2021 Audi R8 V10. Once again, massive shout out to Audi Greenville for providing the supercar for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That will be down in the description below. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on our daily uploads. I'll see you guys in the next video.